ITD and Cobble Enterprises. Let's jump to the KUAM News Zoom room. We have Senator Kelly Marsh, Taitano on. Good morning, Senator. And we're going to fold in.
I hope I'm coming through loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Definitely loud.
Okay, great.
Right. Let's just get right into it, Senator. So I understand that you're seeking a legal opinion from the Attorney General. And this is relative to ballots like mine, that have already been cast in this primary election. As we kind of move forward with this conversation, are we postponing, canceling, or are we just going to gun it through? So let's just talk about that first, Senator. Tell us a little bit about more about it.
Yes, well, my approach always is I want to find out as much about the facts as possible, what the legal situation is, what the precedents are, all of that. And so when we started considering this, receiving that letter from the Guam Election Commission, which kind of began this, it came to mind immediately that we needed to understand the legal landscape. As I see it, there are 3 or 4 main considerations. Of course, health and safety for our voters is, very key. But there's also voter sanctity and what is legally allowed. We've already seen in New York and other places that canceling a primary or other situations has been legally challenged. And in New York, they had to go through with their primary, even though the elected officials had canceled it. So it's an important consideration. Are we setting ourselves up for a legal challenge? And so with that, there's also the consideration of just whether the Guam Election Commission has the logistics. So I wanted to get the lay of the landscape and have the AG weigh in on the legality of what is possible for us to even consider and what if some of the consequences might be.
All right. Thank you for that, Senator. We'll go ahead and get in. Let's bring on Senator Telo Taitague. I think we also have Senator Jim Moylan. Senator Kelly, I did reach out to the Speaker, Speaker Tina, but she's engaged this morning, and then also Senator Amanda Shelton, who I think had come out to a media saying she supports canceling the primary, but she had deferred to the author of the bill, who I think is that the Speaker?
Yes, the Speaker.
Right?
Yes.
She's out. So anyway, you're on. I mean, I'm not trying to get you outnumbered here, but I kind of feel like you guys are all in the same, if not the same page, but maybe the same book. So let's get Senator Jim and Minority Leader Senator Telo Taitague. Good morning, Senators.
Good morning.
Morning.
Right on. And so maybe just right off the bat, I guess I got to ask, would the Republicans try to cancel the primary back in July, citing health and safety reasons? And maybe if we could just address this. So now you're saying that it's too late and we just got to proceed with the primary, or at least you are, Senator Moylan, or just give us your stance on the primary if you could.
Sure. Back in July, we did introduce the bill to Senator Terlahi and myself, right. And that failed miserably, 10-4. So we moved forward, right? And then now we are at PCOR 1. And I've asked the governor prior to the super duper PCOR 1, I call it, what are we going to do about the primary? And the governor basically said once, initially on her interview, that we will have the primary. And then second time when the PIO explained the situation about the executive order regarding the PCOR 1 issue order, that we would still have the primary. But now finally, when Guam Election Commission says, Governor, we have a situation, we need your help. And the Election Commission gave 2 options. They said 1, for the governor to either cancel, or 2, to postpone it. And I believe the date, it's September 12th, 2020 for postponement. So my initial stand on the primary election per the bill, which failed, was to cancel. And that was before the election, before we started casting the ballots and the votes. And Senator Kelly Marsh's bill was very helpful as well, by allowing us, if there was a COVID situation, that we could go in for absentee voting. Right. And many people have done so. And I understand there's 2,500 now that have cast their vote. And many of them are homebound as well. So they took the time, they cast their vote. And so now what we're seeing with the governor's explanation to the speaker in their letter is saying to come into session and cancel the primary. if we didn't have people starting to vote, I would still agree with that situation. It's different now. People have voted. I don't want to say to the people, your vote doesn't matter to us. And Senator Kelly Marsh is helpful in looking at an attorney general's opinion about that. But the election is supposed to happen on Saturday. I'm hopeful that the attorney general will respond to Senator Marsh's request. But I haven't been so lucky in getting any kind of responses that quickly. But no, that's still possible. In the meantime, I'm in favor of continuing by postponing per the Guam Election Commission, because I believe those people's votes does count, and I want to see it go all the way through.
Senator,
with the proper measures in place, that the Election Commission has pointed out what they need and what help they need in order to make that happen. So my position has changed because we have already started the election and over 2,500 people have voted.
Senator Tello, what are people telling Tello about the primary?
Good morning. Good morning, Chris and Sabrina and Senator Marsh and Senator Moylan. Good morning. And to the people of Guam. I think that the first thing we need to do is get the Guam Election Commission on to see if it's true to form, if they can really do an election on September 12th. I mean, they told us once before in front of us when we asked them the question, are you able to conduct a primary election? And they told us yes. And look at where we are today. You know, I brought up to the fact that it's not only just a safety issue, that's number one in my concern. But I already knew back then that she was not meeting the amount of precinct officials that she needed to conduct a safe election. Back then, she had to have 400, she stated she needed 485 precinct officials. At that time, she had 300 that signed up, but they anticipated about 30% of that will fall off. You know, they end up won't coming. They don't want to do the training. So we knew there was an issue from the very beginning. So I'm very disappointed that the Guam Election Commission didn't address that ahead of time. Now, I truly agree that the letter to the Attorney General that Senator Marsh said is very important, and we're going to need that before we move into the session hall on Thursday, else we're going to be sitting there twiddling our thumbs, you know, waiting to hear an opinion. It's important that we get that opinion from the Attorney General, first and foremost, and then most especially hearing from the Guam Election Commission. Are they really able to postpone it to September 12th? Can they make that happen? And do we have the confidence that they will be able to run a primary in September 12th when they told us before they could do it back then? So I know the situation has changed. We all know that. But if you think about it right now, this pandemic never went away when she came to us. This was still, the numbers were still going up. And I think that if we allow this Guam Election Commission to concentrate on the general election, put in place safe measures, whether if we're in super duper condition 1, then we need to give them that time to do so. But I'm really on that fence waiting for the Attorney General, because in no way do I want to move forward unless if there's any legal issues with those who cast it. I voted already, and so I took my father, you know, to vote. I took advantage and took him in the drive-through, and he voted. So I'm one of the 2,500 individuals who voted.
Right, Senator Kelly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, Senator Kelly. So, what do you think? You think September 12th? If we do postpone it, the GEC. Could we get them the resources, the staff, all the things they need that they say they need to put this on successfully?
There are some distinct possibilities there. Their training has moved online, and so it is available on the GEC website. So they have jumped over that hurdle. And, you know, we've seen it before. The governor has people at her disposal, if you will. She can call in those cabinet members. She can call in other people to serve as precinct officials. So, you know, if there is a will, it does look like there's a way at this point. And so this is why the legal opinion and some of the other considerations are really important. And looking at those cases, like I mentioned with New York, we were talking about kind of like the history of this. 2 months out, they said it was too close. Voter expectations were in place. When we met in session, ballots, the off-island ballots had already started being sent out. So if those are the triggers, we need to hear from the legal opinions if that's the case. We did see that the Jotnya election, obviously that's a smaller scale, but it was able to be pulled off. So I think there is that possibility, if that's what in the final analysis is deemed appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I do think those logistics can continue to be overcome. GEC seems to be pretty adaptable at the end of the day.
Realistically, though, and the way that the numbers are tracking with the COVID cases, is that the likelihood that this lockdown could be continued for another 2 weeks, which would place us in the same position we are today, with a primary election that would have to be held within just a few days. And when I look at this letter from the GEC, they already are missing the Monday, August 24th deadline with a graphic center to get voter signature rosters printed out. And GEC has private business partners such as the graphic center and East West Rental to provide the box trucks. And so these private businesses more than likely will be shut down during this lockdown. So,
Sabina, you're absolutely right. There's no doubt in my mind that the primary has to be canceled this Saturday.
Yeah,
that's for sure. I think we're all in agreement.
Postpone.
Saturday it has to be canceled, and then postponed or just canceled. Period.
Yeah, it can't be this Saturday.
Oh my God!
Definitely can't be this Saturday.
We all agree
but
with
even
each
if
other
the governor extends it, which it looks like it'll be for 2 weeks.
No, I wanted fireworks. Stop.
If it's 2 weeks, we're going to be in the same position we are today.
Yeah, good point,
It's
Bree.
good for Guam.
Yeah. Well, Bree, going on to your point as well, another problem that the governor, when she did the PCOR 1, she declared Guam Election Commission as non-essential. So they basically had to stop. So yes, when you declare the Election Commission non-essential, and then you want on Friday, this Friday, the PCOR 1 supposedly should be over if the conditions are in favor. But then the following day, the Election Commission is supposed to get back to work. Why do that? It was impossible. You tell them don't work for a whole week, and now you tell them, okay, come back to work in the primary. Right. That wouldn't have worked at all. You're correct, Bree.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I really appreciate is that we're focusing on this, and there's that sense of urgency. It was one of the first things that I looked at when we had our lockdown was, what we're going to do for these upcoming elections, because we were getting some real heavy stories about New York and Italy, and it was hitting all of us really hard. And if we don't have this sense of urgency and really start to work on these logistics and these different considerations, we don't have options for the general election. And it's good that we take a serious look at all of this. Because in general election, the Constitution, the Organic Act, they spell out exactly when it happens. At this point, there is no postponement, there is no canceling. So we completely have to get our landscape and our situation under control.
Mm-hmm. Can the governor use her Public Health Emergency Act powers to just cancel this election? I mean, we've seen.
According to legal opinion, no.
No.
The legal opinion is that's outside your scope. It's specifically a legislative act. It's by law, so it's a legislative act.
Even though it doesn't have it in the Organic Act of Guam that we're required to have a primary, even in that circumstances, it still doesn't give her the authority to do so.
Mm-hmm. But only to postpone.
Not even to postpone. She can even postpone.
Right. With the postponement, it would still need legislative concurrence.
So let me ask you guys this. I mean, we have three here. You all agree we need to, postpone. the primary on Saturday. What about your colleagues? Is this something we're going to be able to ram through and get the governor to sign before Friday night?
Well, she's already written a letter that she understands that this Saturday is not realistic. So I don't know about the term ram through. I'd like to think that we're amenable to, serving the people of Guam with their interests in mind. I would maybe phrase it that way.
That's one way to put it in an election year.
So the speaker has introduced a bill. I'm not sure if it is online yet or not, but I think a few of us have seen a draft, and there's some opinions on making some changes. So we'll have to see when that bill makes session floor if we were going to make any amendments to it. But at the end of the day, something will happen, whether as original or as amended on the floor.
Let's switch gears.
I want to just follow up with Senator Taitano.
And I'm just starting to wonder. I don't know. I can't see what you're wearing, Sabrina. But was there a blue memo that I missed out on? Nobody sent me a blue memo.
I'm wearing pink.
Stand up.
Yeah.
I'm wearing
Okay,
pink.
so Sabrina, you and I are closer. I have
Right
some
Right.
here.
Yeah.
I know, Kelly. I was about to say, didn't you get the memo? The Zoom meeting. So, yeah, it was.
There we go. See.
All right.
Oh, that's a beautiful shirt. That's a beautiful shirt, Sabina.
I wanted to just follow up on the letter to the AG. Was that through email, or did you have any sort of conversation with the AG's office that would have you feel comfortable that you were going to actually get this a response or an opinion? Because we all know that sometimes it takes a while to get.
He should have like a
opinions from the
speedy
Attorney
opinion
General's
line, right? Yeah.
Hey, well, I have.
There you go. A hotline.
You
No, we
remember,
sent it on.
I introduced a bill that actually requires the Attorney General in a timely manner to come with their opinion. So look at that bill. I introduced it just because of that reason.
Right. Senator Kelly.
So we sent it on a Sunday, and to their credit, somebody, I think his name is Stephen, he did send us a personalized receipt of our email response, and that was like a Sunday afternoon. So we do need to follow up and call the office and and see what confirmation we can get. If nothing else, I think we can bring them in for the committee of the whole. Don't you guys think? I would be willing to call them in for committee of the whole.
As well as the Guam
On
election.
Thursday.
I think
Right.
we need a twofold: Guam Election Commission and definitely and somebody from the administration. Because if the Guam Election Commission is asking for help, like the National Guard, Sabrina, that you brought up earlier, all these issues that they're having, then the administration that's where they have the power. That's where the manpower, any kind of equipment they have. So I think it's threefold: Guam Election Commission, the Attorney General's office, and the administration to come into the committee of the whole.
All right. Let's switch gears. Go ahead, Senator. Last word.
And I really think the governor today can adjust her executive order to allow the Guam Election Commission to be deemed as essential so they can do what they need to do. Whether they continue the primary, the absentee ballots as they're doing right now or not, but they really need to get to work because they have a lot of planning to do. So I'm asking the governor to please consider the Guam Election Commission as an essential body of the government.
All right, now we're going to switch gears. Let's talk about this lockdown. There's a constitutional rights protest happening this afternoon. I will just go round robin. Just your thoughts on this lockdown and some of the restrictions that we're seeing, like the one about you can't go to the parks and beaches and exercise. So we'll start with you, Senator Moylan.
Sure. Well, I don't think I'll need my sunblock. I'll probably need the umbrella because it may be raining. But I'm looking at participating as well. I think it's good that the people voice their opinion in the proper way. We do have to observe, of course, wearing the mask and keeping social distancing. But the people's voice needs to be heard. Likewise, of what we're trying to do today with deciding on what date the primary election should be or should not have. So there's nothing wrong with the people coming on out, expressing their concerns, but we must practice that social distancing within the reasons of how the governor has expressed her PCOR 1 direction, not to violate those rules, but to practice the social distancing and wearing our masks too. So I'm not going to tell nobody you can't go out there and give your voice on the side of the road. You can't stand up on your soapbox in front of, on the sidewalk in front of Guadalupe and give your 2 cents worth. You absolutely can, but you just have to do it in the safety and the protocol that has been expressed to protect ourselves from this pandemic disease. So I see nothing wrong with what they're attempting to do, as long as if it's in the confinements of following the requirements as specified by public health.
Senator Kelly?
Well, I mean, you guys know I'm an advocate, and you've seen me, I'm sure, on the side of the road. So I also, I think it's an important right to be able to have your expression of your voice. Now, I would maybe say that in this day and age, or this particular time, since we're all on our phone and our laptops and stuff because we're in shelter in place, they might have their voice amplified by doing it virtually. You know, that could be a way to go. It can become something that gets passed around and maybe even make a larger impact, and that keeps them totally safe while they're expressing themselves. So that might be a consideration for them, but absolutely, our island and our nation are about being able to have some expression about your stance on the situation. And the government should hear it.
Should people be able to go to the beach and the parks and exercise individually, physically and mentally?
Well, you know, I love to hike. I love spending time at the beach. We have a real tradition for families to be there, but we're looking at a week for right now. So, you know, and we're having these real high numbers. Out of consideration for each other, we're real big on anaphemaulic and geftau and respetu and all of that. Perhaps that's the way to go, to let's just flatten this curve.
Senator Tello?
Gosh, I feel like I'm in between, you know, Senator Marsh and Senator Moylan, you know, want to be that mind in between. But, you know, our freedom of speech is still alive today. Nothing has stopped that. You know, everybody's had the opportunity, but I think we need to do it safely. You know, I'd like to see if I'm one of those Republicans that's also an activist when it comes to certain things that are very important and dear to me, like environment and our heritage, our culture. But I think right now, everybody, if we are not adhering to rules that are put in place, you know, it's going to cause havoc. And we need to do this safely. If we're going to voice our concerns, then I think virtually, like Senator Marsh said, is an idea. Senator Moylan says that he's going to participate. Well, participate by standing outside of your house. You're not breaking any rules. You know, you're outside your home, lift up a sign, and then have somebody drive around with, you know, taking videos of everybody doing that. It can be done safely. Right. And that's what's most important. Right now, we hit 83 positives yesterday. And Sabrina, I was listening to you on the news last night, and you were calling out those agencies left and right, of all those agencies that have been affected. You know, and you kept going and going. I was waiting for you to stop, but every agency has been affected. Every agency. So if we're going to do something, let's do it right. Let's do it safely. And I hope that you know, rules are set in place not to be broken. And I don't think anyone's right. A freedom of speech is taken away whatsoever. We see it everywhere. Social media, people calling, sending letters to the legislature as well. So that's my opinion. Yeah.
Chris, if I may add, I also wrote a letter to our new director, Art San Augustine. We needed some clarification because we have had calls into the office wondering, you know, can I jog on the sidewalk? Can I walk on the sidewalk? Can I ride my bike on the sidewalk? You know, if I have my own private beach, can I go outside on the beach or not? Can I exercise there or not? You know, it's been sketchy. And I think we just need further clarification about that. And it will be helpful if we can get the PIO at the governor's office to further explain that, or possibly, I know, I did speak with the director, Art San Augustine, yesterday, and he's going to look for his legal team to specify that clearly for us too.
Yeah, but I think it shouldn't be like 6 days in that we should be getting this clarification, right, Senator? I mean, this is something, you guys are going to make an announcement like this, then damn it, get all your info right when you make the announcement. People shouldn't be wondering if they could ride a bike or, you know, run laps in their yard until, what was it, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday? I mean, it's been 5 days.
Well, I think if it's on public property, then no, you can't.
Yeah.
Because actually had a conversation with Paul Tapal, because the question was raised, what about the National Park Service, the Aspen Memorial Park? You know, people are always walking around there.
More in the Pacific
Yeah,
Historical
and
Park.
he said no, they don't have jurisdiction over federal property, but public
Right.
parks, public beaches, they can go and they can cite you. So I would think that that would also apply to private property. If you had a private beach, you should be able to go to the beach. I mean, what is GPD's going to roll up and give you a citation for criminal trespass on your own property?
Right. On my way in this morning, I did see coming down Tumon that there are people running and walking and riding their bikes. It's continuing. It's more sparse.
Right.
It's more sparse, but there are people still out there. So that clarification would be helpful.
Yeah.
But these are things that I think kind of create doubt, like what we're discussing also with the election. Are we having or are we not? Can we go on the sidewalk? Can we talk about, can we protest or can we not? So when we create doubts and confusion, that's when the people kind of, the community gets, we don't know, and we question a lot of things, and then we, in our minds, we kind of works like, maybe they're doing this for the wrong reasons instead of the right reasons. And that's what we want to clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you question, are we winging this whole thing or
Yeah.
what? So,
I don't know. I did my
I-
squats in the kitchen last night, guys. So. It's not good to do squats when you're cooking mongo beans and coconut milk.
Right?
Yeah. Go ahead, Senator.
Oh, I was just saying that, yeah, I was just doing laps around my house, just walking around. I don't know how many times gets to a mile, but yeah.
Wow.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
If you hear from the AG's office today, please let us know.
Yeah. We were going to ask about the budget, but that's like a whole other 20 minutes, and I don't know.
No, let's talk about the budget. Let's solve it here.
I go.
It's 5. Let's go.
We're on page 17 of 159. We can do this.
Yeah.
You can
I
do
think-
it by Monday.
I think you guys should do a bill to postpone the budget. Let's do a package deal. Primary
Yeah.
budget.
Wait, to continue. Yeah, that's the most important thing. We haven't stopped. We're continuing on, no matter how long it takes us to do it. We have to do it by the 31st of August. So, I think this weekend we're going to be working this weekend, you guys. So,
Hey, come on. Really? We're working on the weekend?
walking around the house.
Yeah, since we're going to have this special session regarding the primary, so that's
Yeah.
going to take time away from the budget.
Right,
We have to see it through.
Okay. Thank you, senators. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks
Hey,
for having us.
tell
Take
your
care. Be
colleagues
safe.
it wasn't that bad, because I think a lot of them are scared to come on the link. Hey, we ask questions. The best you can do is answer them. So tell them, hey, come on in. The water's fine.
Well, you got a great group here, right here. So
I'm saying,
no
yeah.
need for them.
Hey, if it
Well,
ain't broke.
I'll tell them about what the color code is for the day, so that they're
We'll give it to you
know.
ahead of time. Right on.
Change your shirt, Kelly, for budget hearing. Change your shirt.
Okay, guys.
Stay
Bye,
safe.
everybody.
Senator Kelly, we're going to be looking at your outfit on
Yes,
session time. Okay, Sadros. Wash your hands, 742. Yeah, it's not that bad, guys. I mean, come on in. The water's fine. There's just a couple sharks in here, but Okay, at 742, we'll take a short break.
Hey, now that's an important. That is just crazy. What are they going to do about this primary?
Right.
And
I
even